All right.
Continuum. They're already in here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're waiting
Well,
on
hello.
you.
Well, I'm here.
Hey, guys. Welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight. How are you guys? I am very well. How are you doing,
I'm very,
you?
I'm very well also.
Oh, man.
I'm trying to close all these tabs to make sure that we don't screw up again.
We always do. It doesn't matter, man. It's fine.
We
It's okay to make mistakes.
we did a restart of computers, and there's no tabs up. I don't even have the YouTube tab up.
Do you have people off of your Wi-Fi?
I don't know. I'm off of the Wi-Fi. I turned the telephone off, and yeah, I'm fine.
If it's possible to talk people out of their internet, that would be cool.
Well, that one guy in the back isn't, and he's going to be leaving in a second anyway.
Very good.
Well, let's see
Strum.
Yeah, Sturm, I think, right?
Strum, definitely.
Yeah, I'm saying it wrong.
You've been saying Sturm?
Sturm. Oh, I was thinking Brightblade, right? Yeah, Sturm Brightblade.
Oh my goodness, Dragonlance.
R.I.P. Sturm Brightblade. Oh, spoiler alert. Oh, sorry. I think there's like a 30-year thing. Right? I mean, come on, seriously.
When did they come out? I have no idea.
Definitely
87? Something like that?
Yeah. For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, a Dragonlance.
Dragonlance novels.
Novels. It was novels that were based off modules that Tracy Hickman and Margaret Weiss wrote for TSR, which is Dungeons and Dragons. And then they novelized that role-playing experience. There you go.
There you go. There you go.
No halflings. That was the big deal.
No halflings. Yeah, Kinder.
Yeah, lots of dragons and Kinder.
they made a lot of novels.
And stupid ass gnomes. I went through and read every single one that Margaret Weiss and or Tracy Hickman were involved in.
So even the Dark Sword stuff?
Yeah, I read. I read the Raceland one. I don't remember how many other ones Dark Sword.
That was the stuff that wasn't TSR related.
Were those the Origin ones?
No, they weren't TSR related.
I don't know. I did read the ones like Tasselhoff gets old.
Yeah, those are Dragonlance.
Are those the ones you're talking about?
No.
Okay, well I don't know then. There was a point in time where I stopped. I mean, if they've done more, they've done more. Anyway, there you go.
I haven't thought of those, and well, I do think of them, but not that often. And it's been a very long time since they've been relevant to my life. So,
they're still relevant to your life.
Whoa, where was that thing?
I'm sorry that I didn't have this so close.
No, I mean, sounds better now, but
yeah, yeah. Anyway, there you go. Yeah, Dragonlance. I'm a big fan.
I never liked the role-playing module stuff. I didn't like the campaign setting, I guess is really what I'm getting at, because I'd read the books and it just felt too preordained. It was annoying. I did not enjoy that.
I think you had to play that first. You have Dungeons and Dragons where usually it's a dungeon master making up their own stuff. And if they're playing modules, they're hopefully interweaving them within their own things. Also, Dragonlance was the first setting that kind of forced you to have to play that storyline. So yeah, obviously there was a lot of railroad stuff going on, but as far as giving you an opportunity to work with well-developed characters from within the module in a setting that they belonged in. That had to be pretty cool if you were going into it at the very beginning.
I imagine, yes, going in blind, it would have been kind of awesome. Yeah. But I didn't. And I think most people didn't. right? Like most people were aware of the novel. The novels sold a lot. I mean, they're everywhere. You go to any used bookstore and they're just flooded with them.
I think the only reason why they kept making gaming materials at all was because the novel sold as well as they did.
Yeah, probably.
They're kind of like I don't know. They had their own little world, and people that really enjoyed them kept reading them, regardless. Regardless of the story that was put out.
Regardless of how bad they could get.
Yeah. Again, I would not read any of them that weren't written by the original creators, and it's not like once you get out of WotC, Wizards of the Coast novels or TSR novels, you realize that there is a world of fantasy novel that isn't PG-13, and that's when it gets Game of Thrones and whatnot.
That's a good step up right there. That's how people say, "Hey, is it worth the upgrade?" Yes, that's worth the upgrade.
Well, I mean, unless you care about something being finished,
Say goodbye to both. It's not mutually exclusive. Go ahead and get into the good stuff, and you can always dip back into the fast food.
It's hard to backtrack that way. I mean, there's so much. If you know where the good stuff is, then it's really hard to go back.
Where's the good stuff, Yule? Where's the good stuff?
Well, if you follow science fiction or sci-fi fantasy read along,
I wasn't looking for a plug, dude. Come on.
You can hear a couple or a few guys talk about. Oh, hey, by the way,
what's up?
I heard that on the YouTube Paperback Goldmine channel that you have, that your Sabriel reviews are getting quite a bunch of views.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused about that, but yes, it's
I'm not confused at all.
Why?
At all. Because on YouTube, it seems that young adult books that are talked about are in demand as far as viewership is concerned. If you gotta really pimp that out, because that thing will blow up quick.
That book is 15 years old. I don't think it's going to blow up.
No, but your channel, I mean, you already have like hundreds of views.
Okay, well, tell. No, there's nothing to tell. We're recording next Saturday.
Yes. Yeah. No,
and the Black Company's the Saturday after that.
I want the audience to also tell somebody that if you follow sci-fi fantasy read along on a whole bunch of different platforms, you'll be able to hear us talk about the Black Company, but you and Jill talk about Sabriel.
That is true, Bruja. That is true. But Garth Nix did not keep that series didn't keep going. Well, maybe you're completely correct. I might have to just admit defeat there.
Isn't there a fourth one coming or a fifth one or something?
No, there's 5 already out. I think it's done now. I'm not 100%. But Bruja brings up a very good point.
I didn't see that. If you
don't worry about it. She said she said George Martin's book was 20 years old when the show came out.
Jesus.
What? It's true.
I'm just thinking about that guy not getting that stuff done.
Hard to believe, but he's not hurting for money, man.
Well, I wasn't worried about him and his money situation.
I'm sure he's not either.
Do you think he cares when he goes to sleep at night?
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm sure when he has coffee in the morning or whatever his morning ritual is, he thinks about it and he's like, I should probably anyway.
And
he just moves on.
Yeah. He's all, I think I'll find out how the Mets are doing today or something like that.
The Mets.
Well, he's a football guy, so I'm just transferring it onto baseball.
Ah, gotcha. The Mets.
It's very warm here, by the way.
It's nice and cool here.
I mean, very hot.
Do you have your base layer on?
I always have that on.
Do you?
I was born with it.
Base layer. I meant for your forehead. You dab a little nose.
Oh yeah. It's nothing I'm going to be able to do. I needed to have like a bucket right here. and maybe I could like sponge myself off every once in a while
with chicken wings. What?
No chicken wings.
No.
Just a bucket of water,
Okay.
a sponge, and some water, and just a little bit of barbecue sauce, and I'll just be like, oh. I want everybody to know that you're lucky, because not only is it warm, I was thinking of wearing a Squirrel Girl shirt that came in today so that I can model it for you. But we only have small sizes because I'm not letting fat people wear that shirt, or they'll have to pay for it, by constriction. Anyhow, I opted against it. We'll keep it loose. So there you go. No Squirrel Girl.
No Squirrel Girl.
Hey, I got something in a buy I wanted to show you.
Oh, I like that stuff.
Yeah. Drum roll. No, you don't have to drum roll. Do you know what this is?
Yes, sort of. I recognize the cover. I recognize the little cover inside the big cover.
So we've talked about the price before, I think, right?
Yeah, we have.
So that originally was in black and white.
You know what? I have it. I'm just going to go get it. You keep talking.
Oh, all right. Very good. So this is Dreadstar by Jim Starlin. And actually, before the Dreadstar story starts, there is this story about this really messed up looking guy right here. And he is like a high priest, and he's basically working for the bad guys in this story. And it just tells how he basically breaks away from them and joins up with Vance Dreadstar. Anyway, it's a really cool story. It's got a lot of mysticism and whatnot. The difference between this and the original copy, which I think Lowell is going to be able to show you, is that this is actually in color. This was colored after the fact, obviously. It was printed originally by another company, and then this is Epic, which was a Marvel imprint back in the day, creator owned, I do believe, or at least mostly creator owned. And Dreadstar ran for quite a few years, probably like 3 or 4 years at Epic, and then moved over to another company a little later on. Peter David, who we're going to talk about later on in the show, actually ended up writing Dreadstar also, and those issues were okay, but they had art by Angel Medina and some other people you probably don't know. So
here's the original. It's hold on. It's Eclipse.
Yeah, it's Eclipse. Yeah, this was epic.
Yeah, that's the Marvel imprint.
So that's all black and white on the inside of yours.
As far as I recall, I haven't opened it in years.
Oh,
I'm not going to either because it's got one of those really.
Come on.
Dude, it's got one of those really annoying all the way across. I don't have any replacements.
I hate resealable covers. I never use them.
Actually, it's coming off cleanly.
All right. Yeah. Listen to that, everybody.
The crinkle. Yeah.
You shouldn't have I want everybody to know those regular bags, the polyurethane or whatever.
Here's the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's completely black and white. Go on. What about the bags?
They only are supposed to be used for a year.
Is that what the people who make them want you to say?
They might actually do something like that. But even if they are not telling 100% the truth, definitely when I get comics in from people that sell here, say something.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to show you the little bit of the interior. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, look at that eyeball. It's pre-Iron Man. I mean, post-Iron Man.
It's like an Invisible Man or something like that.
All right, so you're telling me that I need to rebag my comics?
Yeah, definitely 7 years is really starting to think about pushing it. 10 years definitely is pushing it.
And what about 25 or 30?
Yeah, I think it's time.
You think so?
I think it's time, yeah.
Damn, I don't have too many magazine bags.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate situation, but just get one. Get your hands on one.
What do you recommend nowadays?
Just do this.
Tell me later.
This is comic book talk. I think it's good. Oh, and I've got some things to. I actually have. If you look right here, I actually have a list of things to talk about.
Oh, you made a list?
Yeah. Before we get too deep into the show, I'm going to let you know what's going to be going on, or what we may be talking about. Let me just do this right now so I can scratch my nose.
Ooh, look at that good scratching.
Yeah, you can see it.
Get it.
No, it was an itch. It was not it was a scratch. It was not a pick. Anyhow, I get really itchy when it's camera time, you know.
Either way, it's fun, right? It feels good.
Yeah, I love a good armpit scratch or something like that. Anyhow, change your regular bags once a year. If you are going on 5, if you're going on, no, but you have too many comics. But a good rotation is not a bad thing every 3 years. Those bags with the boards are really good. But of course, you can always go Mylar if you think something is going to be an expensive book that you don't want to get rid of, that you want pristine for all time. Mylar is definitely the way to go. A very cheap sort of plastic is worth 200 years of bagging. So that's 200 years you wouldn't have to bag your comic book.
With Mylar?
With Mylar, yeah.
How do we... whatever.
How do we know that? I don't know. Like I said,
don't know that. I mean, do archivists come into your store and be like, "Yo, use Mylar"?
Yeah, Mylar's a real thing.
No, I know it's a real thing.
It's not. I mean,
is its reputation a real thing?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, you can take the rattiest ass comic book and slip it in Mylar, and God, it looks like, talk about beer goggles. That's what Mylar is.
Yeah. You're right. That's what it is. Cut.
So we obviously have our top selling list.
Yes,
that I'm going to talk about later on. And I have a few topics to talk about, but I actually forgot to look up what happened with the that whole Oakland thing. So maybe we'll wait till next week.
No. We're going to answer that question tonight because I want to know.
Okay, well, you might search that up as we're talking.
Yeah, I'm going to. Don't worry.
Say a couple things before, so I can go reach these comic books.
Well, okay, so some of you live in Berkeley and Oakland in the area, so I'm sure some of you in the chat know the answer to what got voted on in Oakland tonight, and if you do, please just tell me right now. That'd be super helpful. There's like a super low delay on the...
They were voting today in Oakland on whether or not they were going to legalize magic mushrooms. I think it was psychedelics in general.
Yeah, Bruja. Yeah.
So did it go through?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were. Yeah,
we're confirming that we are in agreement on the subject that we're talking about. That's all that we've gotten to.
So yeah, I'm very interested to see what would happen.
Denver did it. Denver did it recently,
right? But they just recreationalized all drugs, right?
Oh, I don't know about that. That would be that would be interesting.
I think maybe that was Washington that was trying to do that.
All drugs.
Yeah, you know, when you start getting to crack and stuff like that and heroin, it's like, ooh, man, you know. But the concept is that, you know, hopefully, since they can get their normal stuff, they won't have a problem, you know, with the heroin as much.
I've heard that argument, and it's possible, but I thought northern Mexico had legalized all forms of drugs, but I never heard anything beyond that. And look where they're at. But we should confirm, because I don't know if they ever actually enacted it.
Mm-hmm. So, would you like to know what the top books that we sold this last week were?
Yes, I would like to know.
Okay, I'm gonna just do it this way and actually hold up the book so you can see what the cover was.
I'm sorry, before you begin, the only stuff I see on the internet on Google right now is from 2 days ago. That's the most recent.
Oh, really?
So, I mean, that's what I see.
Well, maybe we won't.
I typed in legalize mushrooms Oakland, and that's 2 days ago's most recent article.
Does that mean it's going to be easier for me to get mushrooms if I'm in Oakland?
Isn't it already easy?
I never try. But I mean, it would be nice to go to 7-Eleven and just.
It's one of those things that any ding dong can grow in their basement or closet.
Have you ever done that before?
No.
Have you ever seen the kits to do that?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it seems kind of daunting, but I think with a pressure cooker, that nowadays you get those little kitchen pot things, and I don't think it's a problem at all.
Really, I don't know, man. I mean, granted, this was like in the 90s. When we were reading the instruction manual on what to do with that stuff, it was very it sounded very scary. And I'm not the experimental type when it comes to stuff like that, but I mean, ingesting is one thing, but growing the spore and killing yourself with it.
No, you don't kill yourself with it. Come on. Hey, Fantinuum just asked an interesting question. Well, was it a question? Hold on. He says he thinks that they should sell the stuff via vending machines. And to Fantinuum, I ask, have you read Gun with Occasional Music by Jonathan Lethem? Anyway, we can move on while I'm waiting for that response. So why don't you give me the top 5?
Oh, yeah. I'd love to. So I didn't say top 5.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it top 7?
No.
Top 2.
I have 5 books, but I was only going to tell you the top 4.
Thank you. Top 4, everybody. Top 4.
Now, the 5th book, what would have been the 5th book, I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But coming in at number 4, we have X-Men Grand Design X-Tinction number 1. This is by Ed Piskor, and it's basically him retelling the story of the X-Men in the Marvel Universe, going all the way through Chris Claremont's run, which is like, I don't know, 2 something. Anyway. He has a real throwback style, kind of underground also. This is the guy that did Hip Hop Family Tree. It's a lot of, and this happened. The thing I really enjoyed, I don't know if it actually comes up on the video, but the special effects really show up really cool on this paper. And I liked it a lot. I didn't read this issue, but I've been liking the series a lot, is what I meant to say. And
I would like to add that I am not a Marvel fan at all. And I think that book is beautiful beyond measure.
Yeah, it is. It's a really nice book. I enjoy it a lot. Let me see. Next book.
You scratching your nose again?
I was just taking my hat off and wiping.
Oh, you were putting on powder. I know you were putting on powder.
That's right. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get that stuff for later. Coming in,
you should get one, and you should have it happen to you on accident.
Well, it would be awesome if I could get Eugene to do anything I ever wanted when I wanted, but he's just opening and closing doors willy nilly right now.
What's he looking for?
I think James was here, and he's being a shy boy. So Anyway,
okay.
So this begins DC's dominance. The whole week was basically DC, and it was centered on 3 books that came out this week. We've got Heroes in Crisis number 9. This is the end of the series that Tom King and Clay Mann brought us. Wally West is the focal point in this issue because at the end of the last issue, we saw what he did. A bunch of the people that are dead, all the people that are dead are responsible. Well, in the first issue, we knew all those people were those fools were killed.
Shocking.
There's been a lot of talk about this. JB, who does Discovery Bay Comics, who talks about different YouTube shows that talk about comic books.
Wait, is that the meta? Are you serious? He has a comic book show about comic book shows?
He has a YouTube show that is all about telling you about comic book shows that are on YouTube.
That is the meta. That is incredible. I didn't think nothing could support that.
I love it. So Discovery Bay Comics is the name of it. JB gets invited onto a bunch of different other YouTube shows as a result. He's a really cool guy, and he's been pimping our show for last few months. And anyway, he did a show on Sunday, and it was basically a courtroom situation where he was the judge, and he had other people that either had shows or, you know, just were personalities from within YouTube or Instagram and stuff like that. And they were like basically pleading and prosecuting Heroes in Crisis as an entire series. It was it wasn't like the best, you know, kind of like jury situation, but you know, there wasn't really a real defendant. It was just people defending their points of view. But nonetheless, it was really cool. JB had like a, you know, a juror, or not a juror. He had a judge's wig on, and he was cool. It was funny. Good stuff. Anyway, Heroes in Crisis. Not everybody has loved this series, but it has done really well in this store and pretty much across the country. You know, controversy sometimes creates cash, and Tom King being booted off Batman just the week before, at least as far as, you know, it's going to happen, that maybe helped also drive up sales. But Heroes in Crisis, number 9. Coming in at number 2, and I will be talking about this comic later on, we have a Doomsday Clock, number 10. All the delays can't hurt this title. The only thing that can is Batman, The Last Night on Earth by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. I will be talking about that comic also in the reviews, which will be just a little bit.
That's pretty exciting, both of those.
Yeah. So, yeah, there you go. That's my top 4. My top selling books. And
top
if you
4.
Yeah,
I would have been a big fan of 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, you're going to be a real big fan of some of the books that are going to be coming out later on.
Oh, I'm excited. That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I don't
have such confidence.
It makes me laugh to think that I'm going to be showing you these books.
Oh, goody.
But, yeah,
goody.
It's you'll see. So there have been a couple things that I just found out about. CBCS, which is the second tier comic grading company. We have CGC, which everybody knows. That's when they slab the comics and grade them for sale or for buying, so that when you're purchasing something from far away or don't know how to grade yourself on books that you see, you have an authorized, you know, person that is going out there and letting you know what the grade of the comic is. And then they slab it so you can never touch it again. Or they can stand there while they're getting it signed, or while the book is getting signed, so they can authenticate that the fact that that was really Joe Schmo over there signing the book that he wrote or drew or she.
No, that is not a service I'm into.
So that made me think of a service that I always wanted to do. If you recall, there was the idea that I came up with for gaming. This is role-playing games. So the thing is you want to take a character of yours over to another dungeon master or game master that is running a game that you want to be a part of. So you're going to take your elf thief, and you're going to take it from my buddy Lowell's game, and I'm going to take it over to Jane's game over here.
That would be so hard to do.
The problem is that as Jane is very strict, and Lowell here doesn't give a damn about how you roll up your characters. But if you had a person that could authenticate it at a gaming event, so that you could take that character with you to other people and they would be okay with that. It'd be like a CGCing of Dungeons and Dragons characters. Or
it would require a great deal of balancing on the part of the authenticator.
Hey, the authenticator just has to be there to make sure that that they used rolling methodology 3.
No.
All of the rolls were okay.
No, what it requires is a knowledge of the average, and then you give them a handicap like in golf, right? So you bring your overpowered game character to my game, and the authenticator looks at it and says, no. Lul's game is very serious. This thing gets a handicap of +5 to everything he rolls. That is what you would have to do.
Well, that's just a simple chart then.
I don't think it's simple.
Well,
you get +1.5 on.
I'm sure even
the damage. I mean, it would be stupid stuff like that.
I'm sure even the Monty Hall Game Master thinks that they're a tough.
It would be a funny story. I can see that being hilarious.
Mm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, sure.
What was that movie where? Oh boy, I'm gonna have to look it up. There was a dumb D&D movie where their game got out of control, but it wasn't like real fantasy. It was like stupid underground, independent film kind of stuff.
Did you,
LARPing.
man?
It's about LARPing.
May I ask you if you saw? Did you watch Dungeons and Dragons the cartoon when you were younger?
Only a little bit.
But you know of this one, right?
Yeah, vaguely.
It's about the kids that are in an amusement park and they go in the Dungeons and Dragons ride and they get sent to a fantasy world and there's this dungeon master that gives them weapons that, you know, sort of loosely.
He was like a little Yoda knockoff, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, I mean, he was a white dude, but yeah, he was a short Yoda looking like guy. Yeah. And you know, like there was a barbarian and he had a club and it was a little kid, you know. And then there was like this thin Reggie kind of character from Archie, and he was like the jerk, and so of course he was like the wizard. The nerd was the wizard, but anyway, it doesn't matter. There were these characters. So there was a commercial. I think it was fan made, and then ultimately it's a car commercial where they basically take the Dungeons and Dragons animated characters and they do a live action thing. And there's like a Tiamat and stuff like that. And then there's like this car that drives in. Picks them up at the carnival.
I want to see it now.
Yeah, it's cool. I would recommend people check that out.
What do we look up? I mean, what are we looking for here?
I would say
Dungeons and Dragons car commercial?
Yeah, it's something like that, or fan made, animated, or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, I saw it. It's cool. Anyway, CBCS is the number 2 company. What they did recently, or I guess they just announced today, I was watching another guy on YouTube and he was like, I have a big announcement. Or not, he didn't have an announcement. He had big news breaking. And it was that CBCS has promised that they are going to have a 6-week turnaround when they're grading your comic books. And I know 6 weeks doesn't sound like it's that quick, but when you're dealing with CGC, it can take a long time. A long time.
What is a long time?
Months. Yeah, definitely. We had customers. We had some really important books of his, and we sent them differently. And then we had his other ones that, you know, he knew he didn't want to spend extra money on. And those came like a couple months later.
Months.
Yeah, months. Yeah. Probably like 2 or 3. I might be overshooting it a little bit, but when you're like CGC had like they were the number 1 company for like the longest time, or the only company, and CBCS is definitely. So of course, you know, you can't get anybody to agree on anything, even when it's grade. I have a comic book, I think it's perfect. I send it in and I get a lower grade. That happens a lot. A lot of times people don't appreciate or agree with the grade. That also happens a lot. And then there's people that think that other companies actually grade lesser or they let things slide a little bit more than the other companies. But me personally, I was collecting comics with my father, and he comes from a coin and stamp background where ain't nothing better touch that stuff or else it's not mint. So you know, and he'd have arguments on what near mint is. There's no such thing as near mint, you know. It doesn't make sense. World. Yeah, in the comic world, there's all sorts of grades. And it's like the little ticks along the spine. And I don't know how many it is, but a certain amount mean it's like, you know, it was a 9.8. Now it's a 9.6. Now it's a 9.4.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's good to have a system in place like that.
Well, there's nothing that says for every 4 that are colorless, it's a 9.8, you know. If you add 3 more and there's a color break, it's a 9.2.
No,
you
it's
know,
just
and
an
all this
agreement,
other
right?
stuff.
It's like it's consensus that certain things cost certain amounts in condition. And when you start adding them all up, like, yeah, sorry, your comic book it's not in great shape.
Well, I look at it this way: you grade low and you price high. You price it at what you want to let it go for. I mean,
Yeah, that's never going to change. People are going to,
yeah.
well, I guess maybe it could, but
Well, I mean, it
if
just
people are
depends.
dumb enough to pay for a number associated with their book as opposed to the actual condition of their book, then sorry.
I got a high grade book, and I was like, I went and I bought a book when I was at the convention not too long ago. A new one's coming up soon in Berkeley. When I was looking at the different books, I actually got one that was considered a lesser grade, partially because it was cheaper, but the defects that were on it weren't as significant to me as the ones on the higher priced ones. Even though the grades were technically higher and the price was higher to match it, the cheaper one was like aesthetically more pleasing to me. And I also don't agree with the grades on the other ones. So, yeah. I mean, sometimes it's just what you're willing to live with. Some people really don't like spine rolls, or some people don't have a problem with like dates being stamped on the covers on old comics. Some people do. It's fun when you see different collectors. They have different reasons for wanting it. But if you want to get your turnaround quick, CBCS is the way to go these days.
6 weeks.
6 weeks, they say.
That's not too bad if you consider that most of my comic books, they sit in they sit in several boxes on shelves back here, and I don't think about them for months at a time. So yeah, good time. 6 weeks. That's
6 weeks.
It's a blink of the eye.
So, Lewel.
Yeah, buddy.
Did you ever read any Vertigo comic books?
Of course.
What was your favorite?
Wait. No. I know I read a couple of the Death thing. I know I read a couple of Lady Death. I think I read 3 of those.
Oh, Lady Death. You mean Death? The Sandman's sister?
No, it was a mini series.
Yeah.
It was a 3-issue series. It was in Yep, that's the one.
Chris Bocciolo did the artwork.
And what about Stardust? Was that originally Vertigo?
No, technically it was Epic, the same company that put out Stardust?
Stardust is Neil Gaiman, dude. Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking of something else.
Their prestige format. There were 4 of them.
Was, I think technically it was a book first, but yeah, it was a Vertigo series also. Like a prestige, like you said.
I read that then as well. Okay. It had Charles Vess art, and I love Charles Vess.
Did you ever read Invisibles or no. Preacher or anything like that?
I have the first Preacher hardcover, and I've never read it because it's in hardcover.
What?
Yep, exactly. I can't read hardcovers, dude. I don't like it.
Okay, cool. Vertigo's shutting down.
No.
Yeah, they tried to.
What is the point? What is the point? So, I know what the point is. The point is you say, oh, Vertigo's shutting down. And then you sell the imprint, or you relaunch it within a year or so and you go, Vertigo's coming back. Am I right?
I don't know about that. So Vertigo had its last title. So there was when we opened the store, DC Comics were doing their normal run of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and all their other titles. And they relaunched the New 52. They ended all their titles, and they started over with new number ones. During that time, Vertigo was starting to dwindle down. Shelley Bond, who was the longtime editor there, was let go, or her contract ended, and she was gone. And basically, it was just them shutting. Anybody coming in to work on a Vertigo anything was basically shuttering, the shop, the doors. So much so that they actually ended Hellblazer, the long John Constantine run. I forget what issue number it ended on, 250, 300, something like that. Because they wanted to take John Constantine and put him in their superhero universe. They had Justice League Dark, which was the magical characters of the DC universe superheroing and dealing with metaphysical situations. So Vertigo ended there, but they brought it back recently. And although the Sandman universe is part of Vertigo, I'm not exactly sure what that means for the Sandman universe, which seems to have been doing okay. But the Vertigo books like Border Town and American Carnage and Hex Wives that have all come out in the last year or two, all have either been canceled abruptly or all basically just couldn't keep going long enough to really catch any interest with anybody. So along with a whole bunch of other BS that went on with the company, the Vertigo aspect of the company, they're closing up shop. And yeah.
So that's word on the street, huh?
Yeah, it's been talked about a lot on social media today. And although I was doing all the other work, I looked into it just a little bit.
The other work that he does, ladies and gentlemen, all the other work that he does.
I had to compile a list of things to talk about too, I know. All the orders and stuff like that.
I know. I'm playing.
So yeah, Vertigo. It's sad. You should definitely pour one out for just a little bit, though. It's been
probably a long time coming, really. I mean, I haven't paid attention to Vertigo in years and years and years, and I never really paid attention to Vertigo because that magical realism that is Neil Gaiman is not really my thing. So I didn't aim in that direction anyway. So for people, I mean, it's kind of modern fantasy, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Neil Gaiman's. I
don't want to oversimplify it, but it was different for fantasy.
So Vertigo was not Vertigo when Sandman first started up. And before Sandman, there was Alan Moore. And he was the big Brit guy that worked in American comic books. He came on over here. He did Swamp Thing, and that blew up.
I bet he ruined America when he got here.
Boy, man, he really did help. I mean, some people would suggest he maybe ruined comic books for them. Maybe by making such good stuff, so much so that it was something that everybody has, even to this day, are still trying to emulate. And so Karen Berger, who was the original editor over there and created Vertigo, she went and got a whole bunch of other people after Alan Moore's success. And she went over and got Garth Ennis, and she got Neil Gaiman, and she got Grant Morrison and Peter Milligan. And they started titles that ultimately became Vertigo books. Animal Man, Doom Patrol, The Invisibles. A bunch of other things. Shade the Changing Man. One of my favorites is Shade the Changing Man. And it originally was just a comic book that DC was putting out. And then somewhere along the lines of like 15 or 16, 17, whatever number it is, they became a Vertigo book. And I think the first Vertigo book was actually that Death, High Cost of Living miniseries. And then all the other ones got the imprint. So, adios, Vertigo.
Bye-bye, Vertigo.
Vertigo was the comic company or the part of the comic company. And I joke about this, but it's like, you're trying to hook up, with people. But you still want to read comic books, and they were kind of like the comic books that you can show people and say, hey, I'm not just like some jerk that's reading funny books.
Books. Yeah.
I'm a sensitive soul listening to the Smiths and the Cure and reading Sandman.
It's just one step away from poetry.
Exactly.
Right? Deep.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of,
yes.
I went to go pick up a loaf of rye bread from the bakery here today, and they were playing The Doors on over the intercom or whatever. It was Riders on the Storm when I got in there, and whatever song is right after that. Maybe it was on random. I don't remember. It sounded like, my memory is very bad, but it seemed like that was the natural progression for songs. I haven't listened to The Doors in ages, man. But, bad poetry aside, yes, comic books are almost poetry.
Almost. Sometimes they are. When it's Terry Moore and he's doing Strangers in Paradise, oof, it's some bad poetry if you remember.
I do vaguely remember.
We did that one episode.
No, I do. I remember, and I remember reading it, and I remember thinking that it was supposed to be bad. That's what I remember thinking.
I don't think it was supposed to be bad.
He doesn't write poetry and then sneak it in his comics, pretending that he's a poet.
Dude, he wrote
secret accolades.
He wrote a lot
of poetry.
Oh yeah,
it was so bad. There's no way that he expects that to be taken seriously.
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to be too mean about it, but
I will be mean. I don't care. He shouldn't care either. He's putting it in the public sphere. If he's listening to this show, he's a fool.
For listening to the show?
Yes. Oh, look. Did you ever answer the questions? What's up with that weird girdle?
What girdle?
That girdle on Superman. Why is he wearing a girdle?
Well, I'm going to tell you in the review.
Oh, this is reviews?
Well, when it's time, yeah.
Okay, sweet.
You want to see some comics while we talk, rather than my ugly face?
I don't know how to respond to that question, you all, honestly.
I want to. So there's a conversation that was going on in Twitter, and I even saw a gentleman talk about it on YouTube, and it's about the fact that the X-Men are allegories for race situations in the 60s. That Stan Lee created the X-Men as a one side being Martin Luther King and the other side being Malcolm X. And I just I want people to know that that's BS. That Stan Lee will say yes to anything you put in front of him, especially if it made him look smarter and more eloquent than he even believed he was. And I'm not trying to denigrate him because there's so many more things I can. But I mean, just look at any comic book that he signed that he had nothing to do with, because they're out there. And just that alone. He's trying to make people happy. I know. But come on. It's, they use Stan Lee Presents just so he could go out there and sign stuff all the time. Anyhow, that would be more like Chris Claremont when he wrote the book. And he kind of used them that way. And even still, when you're comparing the characters in the X-Men to Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, the question I have to ask you is, who is who in the X-Men universe? Because I know Magneto is considered evil. So who in that,
I like Magneto.
Yeah, well, I mean, Magneto is. I mean, well, that's the other thing. I mean, when you look at him in the beginning, he's just this guy who's a mutant, and he's like Homo superior, which are mutants, are going to take over, and Homo sapiens, which are us, are dying out. And just like caveman, and Grant Morrison explored this also, just like caveman, you're dying off. And there's going to be a better race of person that's going to replace you. If anything, I mean, and again, I don't really think Stan Lee is super deep. If anything, I think that the X-Men is about evolution, pure and simple. We are looking at our dying days, and we are rejecting that, and we're fighting the people that are going to replace us. We do it all the time anyway.
You think we're going to do it with AI?
Oh my gosh, that's going to be a heck of a battle.
No, it won't. It'll be over so fast. We'll never even know. We'll never even know what happened.
Well, that will probably be done with Soma or something, right? We're just going to strap in, take the pill, and just AI it till we're done.
Dude, let's talk about Soma, because that stuff is amazing. I got a hold of that stuff in Mexico, and I had some. And I remember how it happened. I hurt my back working at Half Price Books, And I went to the doctor and he prescribed it to me. And I remember it worked, and it worked in such an amazing way because it made my muscles relax because they were all cramping. It made my muscles relax, but it didn't do much to me like otherwise. Like, it just felt super nice, super, super nice. Like, I could feel like that every day and not complain.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, that's how people end up hooked on opioids. Because that relief is real. And then why would you want to go live in pain?
Oh, I don't know. Ask my brother about that.
Drugs are great.
Anyhow, this is actually a kryptonite vest that's on Superman.
Oh, it's a girdle, man. It's a girdle.
Or girdle. This doesn't really happen in the book, although it kind of does. So this book is 3 parts, actually 4 parts.
It's a
$10 book. It is 80 pages, and for the most part, I thought it was quality and worth it.
Did it have an alternate cover?
Pardon me?
Did it have an alternate cover?
No, it was just that one cover.
So
usually on their $10 books, they don't do that too often, unless it's like those Detective 1000s and stuff like that.
You know, for $10.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they know some segment of their audience will pay it.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess 80 pages is worth $10 these days. Anyhow, what really happens in this story is Clark Kent gets the girdle put on him. Superman sees people in his apartment looking to kidnap Clark Kent, not realizing that Clark Kent's Superman. And he's going to go along with it. And when he gets put in a chair because he's going along with it, they put this vest on him and it has kryptonite. And they're like, oh, don't worry. When Superman comes to save you, this is to hurt him, not you. And of course, you know, again, they don't know that that's Clark Kent. And so that's the deal with him having a kryptonite girdle on. I thought that element of the story, although really stupid that it happened that way, it actually kind of gave me a feeling of claustrophobia. And in that way, Bendis did a good job making me worry for the character. He put himself in a stupid situation, and it looks like he's not going to be able to get out of it. He does get out of it. And before he gets out of it, though, we get this story about Lois Lane being worried about what's going on, written by Greg Rucka. We get this story about Jimmy Olsen having got married to a woman who is an interdimensional cat burglar.
She sounds hot.
Yeah, totally hot. And he gets hooked up with, oh, come on. What's the name of him? It's the Red Lantern cat. I can't think of the name right now. The one that spews blood.
Jesus, what is that?
Yeah, come on. Dexstar is the name of the cat. Anyway, the Jimmy Olsen story was written by Matt Fraction. This represents Matt Fraction's first DC work, and not unlike the Hawkeye series that he did for Marvel, it is humorous, and I think it's going to do very well for us. And this kind of read like 4 Rooms. Did you ever see that movie?
No.
Tim Roth, a whole bunch of people like Madonna in it.
Yeah, I saw it once, very long time ago.
It was like a bunch of stories.
Hotel rooms, right?
Yeah.
Vegas.
Some of them were good. Some of them were good stories. Some of them weren't good stories, but they all somewhat interconnected with the main hotel story. That's what this was. And funny enough, Bendis is always trying to write like Tarantino. So there you go. That's my review.
Oh, that is Tarantino, huh? Okay.
Trying to be. Actually,
hey, man, it's good to have heroes. It's bad to try to write like them.
The problem is, I think he really was aiming for anybody on the Golden Girls. God, Gilmore Girls. Anyway, that's enough of that. Batman, The Last Night on Earth.
I approve.
Yeah. The Last Night on Earth, everybody, right here. So this is written by Scott Snyder, and Greg Capullo is doing the artwork. It's actually the regular team from the Batman book when the New 52 started. This tells a story about Bruce Wayne in Arkham Asylum. He gets told that all of his Batman remembrances are fictional, and that the criminals are people within the asylum, that the people that he fights, like the Scarecrow and the Joker and the stuff like that, they're all people within the Arkham Asylum. And here's Alfred showing him the costume that they made up, or he made up. And there's his fake Batman costume. But what you find out is that there is a sort of AI going on, and that Alfred, it's too confusing. The problem with this is that there's a story that develops after the asylum where Batman is in the future. Bruce Wayne's in the future, and we have there's Diana, and there's these Green Lantern guys that are basically possessed by the rings, and there's Batman holding the Joker's head. He found him in the desert when he escaped Arkham Asylum in the desert right here. So it's it suggests that Batman isn't the Batman that we think it is, but like a program. And I don't know what's really, really, really going on, but basically there is it's post-apocalyptic story. It's kind of like the last Batman story. I don't know if this is a big mind F, and if the next story starts off with him in the hospital again, or if it ends with him in the hospital, I think I'm going to be a little let down. The jury's out on this book as a series as a whole with this one right now, because I really got to know how Scott Snyder sticks the landing. The problem with Scott Snyder is that this is a 3-issue series, and usually his penultimate issues are his best issues. So that means the next issue is probably going to be the best one. And then the third one, I hope it doesn't need too much of a wrap up. They are extra sized, not $10, but even still. I liked it. Good artwork, fun story, good characterization. I just don't know where the real plot is and what we're going to find out going forward. So I can't really say this is great, but it did everything it needed to do to make me care about what's going forward.
All right, so if it's followed up with a spectacular penultimate issue, and it's followed up yet again with a great final issue, I mean, is this series, could it be great? Could this series be great, or mini series?
Well, the only thing is we're in this Black Label line of comic books right here.
That's the ones with the whips and chains, right?
Potentially, you could have some whips and chains, yeah. Even though regular DC comics have whips and chains with the Batman Who Laughs, another one that's written by Snyder. I don't know if this is DC continuity. I don't know if it really matters. But if this is these guys' last Batman story, and it's supposed to be following the New 52 Batman that they wrote, I don't know. I'm a little befuddled by what I'm reading.
Befuddled.
Yeah, but I liked what I read nonetheless.
You think befuddled is the right word for this book?
Not really. I don't know. Whatever.
It's a good, interesting word choice, buddy.
I don't know.
I like that word. It's a good word.
I don't know. Doomsday Clock number 10. This was a very, very a lot of explanation. A lot of explanation going on in this book. A lot of this scene right here. Fans of DC Comics will know who Nathaniel Dusk is. Basically, this guy here is, what do I want to say about this before I talk about it? There is a Sandman story. I think the guy's name is Hobb. Sandman meets with this guy once every 100 years. he got his Sandman Dream got his sister Death to not, claim this guy's life, and let him live for all eternity until he didn't want to die and until he didn't want to live anymore. And at the end of every conversation that the Sandman and he have every 100 years, Sandman asks him, "Do you want this to be over?" And sometimes the story that his buddy would tell him were horribly devastating things that happened to him. Put in prison, been starving, he's poor, he made a lot of money, his family died, on and on and on, And the guy always says, "No, I want to keep living." And so at the end of every storyline, Sandman would basically meet up with that guy in different centuries, and that was kind of what this felt like. So Dr. Manhattan is continuously having a conversation with this actor who's on the front of the book. He knows when the guy's going to die. He knows when the guy's going to get successful in acting. He knows everything that's going to happen, and he's kind of a focal point for Dr. Manhattan, who has a problem knowing what's going to go on in the universe that he's in right now, the one with the superheroes. Because if you remember on the last issue, so many months ago, Dr. Manhattan was fighting the heroes on Mars. Well, there's a whole thing from Watchmen where there's these tachyons that kind of give him a problem. And right now, seeing or using his powers perfectly. And right now in this book, that's what's going on with him. And so we're just seeing different moments in their lives together. And it's, it changes with Superman, where Superman is, so what do I want to say to continue this? I know it's kind of boring, probably. Superman has had so many different creations over the years. This is kind of explaining how those things exist. Those different versions of Superman exist within our comic book knowledge and this story that we're reading here. And that kind of starts explaining itself. And that's what's going on in this right now. So that's the explanation. They're basically talking about a multiverse, a metaverse, and all this other stuff. And it's a very interesting story. Not a whole lot goes on except for all that explanation, but it's really well written, and I really enjoyed it a lot. And again, the characterization between this actor dude and Dr. Manhattan, it's pretty cool. I like the story that's unfolding. It's interesting. I'll have to really, really check it out again later on.
Reread it?
Yeah, reread it. Really reread it. There's it's a tragic ending in this guy's life. That gets solved by the ending. I like this one a lot. Oh, I'm not reviewing that. Never mind. That's all. That's all the reviews.
Say hi to Eli.
Eli, you mean Tanner?
Yeah.
Wow, Eli's here. Cool. Hey, this is a book he gets right there.
Well,
that's coming up. Yeah.
Yes, that is exciting. All right, so those are the reviews for the week, right?
Yeah, that's the reviews for the week.
Okay, so how many books did you end up reading?
I read most of Green Lantern 7 also. I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 books. I've been doing a lot of that moving stuff still.
Yeah, I saw the pictures Jill sent about your office and your living room. I like the way the living room looks, man. I gotta say, it looks nice.
It does look nice. I like it.
Yep. Kitchen too.
A lot more work.
Almost over. It's almost over.
Almost.
How many days do you suppose?
I don't know. Hopefully, I mean, they're done. I have to do all the other stuff now.
Yeah, but that's all pleasurable stuff, man.
Yeah, it's pleasurable.
I love it.
Yeah, it's great. It's great cleaning up your life. I don't know. You gotta really wonder whether or not you want all the stuff that you have.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That is the thing. Try moving out of state with your stuff, and then
it's all going in the shitter.
No. But some of it will stay behind.
Yeah.
I left a bike behind, a bucket of dirt.
A bucket of dirt. Wow.
Yeah, I want that bucket of dirt too. I wish I had it, but I'm not going back for
You're not going back for that dirt.
it. Nope.
All right, very good.
Hey, come on, man. It just has to sound weird. It is not weird.
Yeah. All right, very good. So this is also one of my favorite books. This is what's coming out next week.
Do you and Eli get together and talk about this book and like giggle?
No, he I think was behind the last time when he read it. So he doesn't know about all the shenanigans that were going on. The last issue was kind of like a prose issue. It was all about Green Lantern basically going inside his own ring. Very interesting. This should evoke a lot of imagery for people that like old Green Lantern, especially the Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams run, which were the hard traveling heroes storyline or whatever it's called.
Hard traveling. Does that mean they drank a lot?
They went and they toured America without superpowers and turned that ring off. And Hal Jordan's often represented as a kind of a conservative character, maybe the more Republican of the two. And he's a crazy liberal. I'm just joking. But I mean, there's in that Denny O'Neil story, the classic scene is where Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, rescues this white fat cat who's basically a tenement slumlord. And Green Arrow doesn't want to have, he's like, hey, go mind your own business, Hal. You don't belong here. And there's a big soliloquy from this one black man about, how Jordan, he goes and he helps the Blueskins and the, all these crazy tentacle people and all this other stuff. But he doesn't, really pay attention to what's going on at home. So what they do is they go and with a guardian of the galaxy, the guardians of the Green Lantern Power Corps, they go and they travel America and they see all sorts of stuff, and it's cool. It's an excellent series. Black Canary's in it also. So also in Green Lantern, Green Arrow was often a co-star in the 80s, I do believe. So to see them together again should make most people happy. And Liam Sharp is still doing the art. He's done 8 straight monthly issues, which is a new record these days. So there you go. Green Lantern 8 coming out tomorrow.
That looks like a hypodermic needle.
A hypodermic needle?
On the cover?
It does. Yeah.
What's he gonna be? What's his poison?
And I don't know what the poison is, and the other thing is like these angles. Look at Hal Jordan down there looking up. That is so Neil Adams. This his attention to detail, Liam Sharp on this. He is. I mean, it doesn't feel like he's swiping or mimicking. It feels like an homage to the people that worked on it before. And this is just some fantastic Green Lantern stuff. Can't wait to read that. Meow, the black cat.
Who's that dude on the cover?
Who's that dude on the cover? That dude on the cover?
I like to make mistakes on purpose.
Oh, okay, I see. That's a J. Scott Campbell cover. I also have an Art Germ cover. This is written by Jed MacKay and has art by Travel Foreman. I looked at the illustrations inside. Foreman's pretty good. And there's a lot of cool panel work in here. I'll probably read this issue. I'm not. Oh, I like that. Look at that.
I like the color. The blue is nice.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff going on in here. I don't think Felicia Hardy is really the character that I want to be following. She's kind of like that. She's obviously very much like Catwoman. She steals. Often she's a thief, and sometimes she's a lover of Spider-Man's. So, yeah.
Is the guy that's doing the art for this book the guy that is famous for taking pictures from adult entertainment? And
no, that would be Greg Land, I do believe is.
Because I saw a panel in there that looked awfully like traditional
Oh, really? A movie that
Pornography.
you may have seen?
No, just traditional pornography.
Behind the Green Door or something like that? Something old? Something
I
with some Harry?
Nope.
Some 70s porn? You're really into that?
I don't think I know. Honestly, I don't think I would dare go to
You're a Linda Lovelace fan?
I don't have a clue what you're talking about.
Finally, Savage Avengers 2 has come out.
Look at that little face on Conan. What's up with that?
Dude, I dig it.
Little face.
All right. So the first issue was excellent. If you wanted to ever see Conan fight Wolverine, oh man, they fought like crazy. And it's all in the Savage Land, which is one of my favorite places. So I'm really hoping we're going to see some Khazar. And basically, this guy is trying to sacrifice all these heroes so that he can bring this like demon god back. And Venom is one of the captured people. We got Brother Voodoo and Elektra's hanging around. So I can't wait. Basically, it's getting the group together. But I really enjoyed what I saw. The reason why Conan is in the Savage Land is, and Bruja could tell you for sure, was he was supposed to be magic back to his time, but it just didn't happen, right? And so here he is. And he's fighting evil like only Conan can. And yeah, he's got like the baddest, like craziest, I guess I'll call them Avengers in existence. So yeah, Savage Avengers number 2 is finally out. If you didn't get number 1, I got reprints of the first issue. So come on in and get that.
That's what everybody likes, a reprint.
If you're just wanting to read the story, and not only that, sometimes reprints are the more valuable ones.
I'm sorry, but I am seeing a cover that is a ripoff.
No. This is it's a movie variant. So, do you know what movie that is?
Yes.
Anybody? Oh, you can tell us, Lewell.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, isn't that cool?
No.
Really?
Maybe.
I think everybody's gonna like this one.
I think that they're taking a little too far, is what I think.
So I have this customer. She came in and she's all, "Oh, and I want you to get me that Deceased. I need to have, I need all the whole miniseries." And I said, "Do you want me to get you the movie covers?" She's all, "Yeah." And I know it was on the strength of this one, especially.
Are there other movie covers?
Yeah, the first one had It.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So DC East, I call it Deceased, is a Marvel Zombies-esque type comic book where it's not in the DCU, but it's taking those characters and through AI and the anti-life equation, anybody that opens their phones or social media will get hit with it and basically are turned into these like zombies. At the end of the first issue, you think, oh, well, Batman's going to just need a little bit of time and he'll figure out, Nightwing and Robin shoot him up. And he is one of the bad guys now, too. Trevor Harzine is the artist, and I thought it was really good in the first issue. The apocalypse scenes in the first issue were drawn by a different person. Look at that chin on Harley in the second panel. Oh, well. Anyway. Yeah, I thought the art was pretty good. And if you need an out-of-continuity horror story with superheroes, this is probably a very good book for you. I thought the first issue was good. Tom Taylor, the writer, seems to do really good when he is writing stories that are not in continuity. He is also known for having done the Injustice series, which is based on some DC video game. We have Justice League number 25, another Scott Snyder comic book. This is also written by Tinian IV. And I think it is the end of that last storyline. But it has Year of the Villain Prelude also in it. So I think whatever else is going on in here is a conclusion to the 6th dimension storyline, and then obviously things that are going to go on in here are going to be part of that whole Year of the Villains, which is a big DC event. They're just, let's just focus on some villains. Little do they know that Justice League's been doing that every 4 or 5 issues. I don't know. Oh yeah, there you go. Conclusion to the 6th dimension. Boy, this series has been I really like this one. And his writing, I know I said it a couple weeks, his writing on Superman in these issues have been fantastic. Superman has not been in most of the book. He's been imprisoned after the first issue. So there's like a whole bunch of hopeless situations that he's put in. Well, he's put in the same hopeless situation a multiple of times. And he's really trying to work it out and use his super hope powers to get through this. But everything seems to be screwing him up, and mostly it's Batman's fault. So, yeah, there you go. Justice League's coming out tomorrow, the end of that story. This is a one-shot Incredible Hulk storyline by Peter David with art by Dale Keown. They were original Hulk creators, 20-something years ago now. And they're telling a cool one-shot story. I'm hoping it's a cool one-shot story. That's an advertisement. Don't look at that. There we go. Dale Keown went on after Hulk and did Image Comics Pit. He asked Peter David to come along with him, but Peter David had such a problem with Image at the time, even though he was being offered a position to write what will probably be a really cool comic book with his buddy Dale Keown. He said no and kept writing for Marvel.
How'd that work out for him?
Well, he doesn't write that much anymore. He's thrown a bone from time to time. He did Scarlet Spider, which nobody really cared about. He didn't do Scarlet Spider. He did Spider-Man 2099. Those were good, but again, people didn't really care that much about it. He's doing a Symbiote Spider-Man miniseries, and he's getting this Hulk one shot. But like most of the old timers, they slip through the memory hole, and people just don't care about what they have to say anymore. But for those of you that do, we've got Hulk Last Call. And if you don't like this cover, Andy Kubert does one of them. Or is that Adam? I don't know. Anyway, there you go. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a big Peter David Hulk fan. Thumbs is an Image comic book, and I have no idea what this is about. I know I was thinking I'm not going to order anything, and I actually ended up ordering this book.
Was it an accident?
No, I waffle. Image has right now a situation where they are doing number ones at no cost, or not no cost, at no risk. So we know we can send them back.
Nothing is a good price.
Nothing is a better price. Yes. Sean Lewis, who did some books that we've sold in the store in the past, is writing this. Hayden Sherman is the artist. And tell me what you think of that.
Turn the page, please. Speak.
Oh, I'm sorry. And I'll keep speaking as I do this so that you can see some of this art. Look at that. Anyway, I'm really glad that I got this book because I'm interested in just the palette alone and the way it's being told as a story. So I'm going to definitely read this one. Thumbs, number 1.
Is there any obvious reason? Oh, you haven't read it yet. Never mind.
No, is there any reason? Yeah, I just haven't.
I was like,
why I haven't read.
Why is it called Thumbs?
I don't know. I
think your brother is making a pun. But
I'm sorry. I mean, I could read this back to you, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
All I know is I see AI and technology.
I love our new AI masters.
Our new AI overlords.
Thank you for taking over.
Thank you for taking over. Please don't give me a
remedial job.
Please give me a high-paying salary job. It's fake anyway.
Exactly.
Please give me that high-paying turn on, turn off the switch job.
Just tell me my work is important. That's enough.
Oh, never mind. War of the Realms #5 comes out.
What's that
Bruja.
blue thing on the cover?
What was that?
I can't really see the details. A little bit of glare. What's that blue thing in the middle of the cover?
Looks like a big old wolf monster. Maybe a
Okay.
panther. I
Okay.
don't know.
Yeah. Okay. That's kind of what I thought it was.
I don't remember something like that being shown last issue, but whew, there's only one more issue, so this should be hot and heavy. And always looking good. God, that looks so good.
It does. Yes.
This Matt Wilson. That's
There's that ad.
like let me look at this. Look at this ad. Who cares?
Too much glare, man, but it's okay for that.
It sucks. All right, anyway. Good advertising. Oh yeah, hey Jaffra, if you can remember what I was bitching about as far as advertising. Oh, it was so upsetting. Anyway,
that's a great joke, man.
Yeah, well, I was hoping he might say something and then I could let you know. All right, so those were not the books that I was saying that you might be interested in.
That's good because I wasn't.
Oh, come on. Some of them were really good.
You know how
Could you tell me what your favorite game to play is?
Not in public.
Come on now. I told you about my Pokemon Go.
I have 3, but 2 of them are video games and 1 of them's not. So is it a video game or not?
I think I'm talking about a video game, yeah.
Minecraft.
Oh, Minecraft. Let's stop that.
Nope. By and far and away.
Minecraft. Bite me. Minecraft comes out tomorrow. Aren't you happy?
I don't know. Should I be?
Probably not. It looks like an all ages Minecraft story. But finally.
You're right. It is long overdue.
Yeah. We sold Eugene, I'm just joking. We sold Minecraft books in the store that Scholastic put out, and they were like guides, combat guides and other stuff I don't know anything about. But we also sold some knockoff storybook editions of Minecraft also. But this is the first really, truly illustrated Minecraft story. So I'm very interested in how this is going to go for the store. It's cheap. It's only $10. Probably about 80 pages.
Okay, I was going to say cheap at $10. It better be 80 pages. Yeah.
All right. Anyway. And remember that Dungeons and Dragons cartoon I was telling you about? Die would probably be the adult version of that.
May I please see some of the interior?
Yeah. So this is by Kieran Gillen. Kieran Gillen is a big-time gaming dork. He likes a lot of RPG stuff from what I understand.
And he's doing the writing or the art?
He's doing the writing. And so this takes, I didn't read this, so I'm only telling you what I know about it. In 91, these kids get together and they play a Dungeons and Dragons game. They use these dice that are in this box, and then they disappear.
Nice. The dice disappeared. They roll them and they just go away.
People disappear. And then they come back many, many years later, and they're like adults.
Okay.
Like all this mystery about what happened when they were gone.
Yeah.
And other stuff that's going on. And again, I haven't read this, but it sounds like it's kind of like an adult version of that Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
Very cool. Very cool. Did you ever see a Disney movie from the very early 80s called Watcher in the Woods?
No, I don't believe I did.
Okay. It was one of their live action movies that were kind of scary, kind of like Black Hole. It was that era. And what happened was, God, memory is so rough. There was this little girl, and they're doing some kind of scary ritual during a thunderstorm in an abandoned cathedral or church or whatever, and lightning strikes, and the bell out of the tower falls, and it lands over where the little girl is. And when they finally move the bell, days later or whatever, she's not there. And she disappears. And then people keep seeing her over the course of a ghost for a long time. And I think she was trapped in another dimension. It was quite creepy, and it was very, very good. I remember it being good anyway, and that's what that just reminded me of. But if it's D&D related, I am very super down.
Yeah, all right. So we finally got a book that you might be interested in. And it's called Die, like a role-playing die.
And actually, you probably don't know why this would be of interest to me either, but Tanith Lee is a famous science fiction writer from the 70s and 80s.
And that's why I put this one up also.
Oh.
Trina Robbins did the artwork, so it's probably not going to look so great. But the cover looks really good. Trina Robbins is like an old style artist. She's very instrumental as a female creator in the 70s. But she often did, stuff like Barbie comics and stuff like that. But she did women's comics, which was like an underground kind of like version of Zap or something like that. And she's if you ever watch the movie Crumb, she's that little lady who's talking about, his work is very important, but it's very it's not so cool either. Anyway, I think this looks really good. Maybe it's more I'm warming up to it. Her action, it's very static. It's not very it's not like Kirby drawing, let's just say that.
I'm not in love with it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure the Silver Metal Lover isn't one of Tanith Lee's craziest. I don't know.
It's among her most famous works, I think.
It is.
It's up there, yeah.
Yeah. What kind of story do you know?
I couldn't tell you. I've only read one of her books, and it was called Storm Queen. I don't even remember. It was a long time ago when I was reading Hugo and Nebula Award winners, and I don't know why I picked her up, but I did. She was probably nominated.
I see.
I don't know if she was ever a winner of those awards.
All right, and last but not least, I'm going to show you an art book. Have you ever seen Tara McPherson's artwork, maybe back in the Comic Relief days?
Geez, no, I don't think so.
It's kind of like, oh yeah, I was going to joke. Who's your favorite Pixie?
It's not Kim Deal.
Well, she does the introduction.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was going to say, who's your favorite Deal?
My favorite Deal? It's also not Kim.
Oh, is it her sister?
No, I don't care.
Anyway, there's Tarek McPherson's artwork. I think it looks pretty cool. I remember we used to have at the old store, not this one, I think we had some of the figures that they made, vinyl figures of hers, and they were pretty freaky looking. I don't know. I think her style's pretty cool. I don't know. Maybe it's like 15 years ago and nobody's going to care. So I didn't go crazy, but I still get more.
Do they give titles for any of the illustrations?
I don't know. I don't see any.
You didn't see just an image. There's no text on the pages.
None on the pages. No, it's just oh wow, yeah. Anyway, I like her work. Yeah, I just thought I'd point that out to you too.
Nice.
So that's what's coming out tomorrow. There's more.
Sweet. Let me see more of that Minecraft book.
Oh yeah, Minecraft.
Go to the end. Flip to the end, sort of like the you want to the last few pages.
Oh look, they're helping each other up over something. Probably a wall.
Yeah.
Maybe they dug something. I don't know. It looks kind of cutesy.
It looks a little too cutesy
or something.
Yeah.
Talking on my ass when I say Steven Universe, but maybe not.
Did you ever watch? Oh God, what are their names? Do you know who Neebs Gaming is on YouTube?
No, Neebs.
Yeah, they're a group of guys from South Carolina that are pretty funny. They did a show called Battlefield Friends, which of course I watched because I also like Battlefield, and it was hilarious. It was really, really funny. They also did a Minecraft show, which was very, very brief because I don't think it was very popular, but it was also quite funny. I thought it was animated. They both were. They're funny people, though. Yeah, they did a Minecraft. Yeah, they did a Minecraft fan animation show. I don't know how long, maybe 6 episodes, 8 episodes.
And it wasn't popular.
Nope.
That doesn't make sense to me at all.
I agree. It does not jive, but there it is.
Unauthorized Minecraft stuff. And I mean, I couldn't get enough of it.
I don't know what to say, man. Maybe it had explicit. Maybe it had an explicit rating on YouTube or something, and just couldn't get a grasp.
Oh yeah, maybe. Maybe they didn't want to do it after they got fined or they got copyright striked or something like that.
That's possible too.
Yeah. Did you hear that? Like a lot of that had been going around lately, or at least a lot of people believe that anytime they talked about Brie Larson or Captain Marvel, that they were getting a copyright strike struck from Disney. Well, somebody else, but they think it was like somebody on behest of them.
Disney said, "Hey, it's okay. Go ahead and just do this for us."
Yeah.
Well,
there's a lot of conspiracies, and I mean, with Disney owning everything, they're going to come hot and heavy.
Do they own so much of everything that we have to worry about the disappearance of? Oh, so what does it mean that iTunes is going away to you?
What do you mean?
The WWDC or whatever just happened.
I don't know.
Worldwide Developers Conference or whatever. Apple makes a bunch of announcements, and apparently they're getting rid of iTunes.
Really?
That's what they said.
Is that? I'm not trying that.
I don't know. You hadn't heard that?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Anybody in the chat hear about that? No. Okay. Whatever. No, I make up lies and I just spread them around on Tuesdays.
iTunes is dead. iTunes is dead.
Yeah, well.
But they were they're being successfully sued though, iTunes. Because
I heard about that as well for being a monopoly.
Yeah, it had to do with like promoting games on their app store or whatever you want to call it, and I'm sure there was more to it than that, but I'm sure someone can correct me.
A $999 monitor stand? Jesus Christ.
I'm not eating your crap.
I don't mind that I have an iPhone, but it is the last one I will ever buy that is new.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
Dude, I was looking at TVs today because so this is what I did today. I sat on my uncomfortable camp chair, which I've been using periodically when I'm not pacing. And I decided that I'm going to go to a furniture store and I'm going to buy a comfortable chair today. Not the chair I'm sitting in, but like a real comfortable chair so I can read and write and watch TV in peace. And so I did. I went and bought a chair. And then because I bought a chair and it gets here in 2.5 weeks, I was like, I should probably start shopping for a new TV. So I found a TV it costs $16,000.
A TV cost $16,000?
Yes.
What could it possibly do that's worth?
I don't. It was like 85-inch LG OLED. I mean, it's like got all the bells and whistles. It's huge. I don't know why it's $16,000 though. It's just an incredible amount of money to pay.
Wouldn't it be cooler to have your computer, kind of like what 360 or whatever that is?
You're talking about the triple monitor setup?
Yeah.
I think it'd be cooler to have one curved monitor that did the same thing. But take it from me, it's very hard. It's very expensive to push that much graphics power to a television or monitor that big.
Mm-hmm.
And like my computer is not underpowered and it has a hard time with my monitor. And it's just an ultra wide. Like it has a hard time. So pushing a big surround, I mean, you need multiple graphics processing power to do it, which is not really a topic for this show.
I'm reading chat. So yeah, I don't know.
Curved monitor. Curved.
I want one of those computers that you can fold, right? Or is it
the folding screens? That phone got recalled. Like they made one and they immediately recalled it. So I think it has some serious problems still.
Yeah, I don't know if I really. I mean, folding your.
There's no reason why you can't do it.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
There you go.
There you go, everybody.
There you go. That's the show so far. It's 10:30. I think we're pretty good. We're well timed, Yule.
I know. Yeah, I agree.
So tell me about the future, though. Tell me if there's anything in the future for your store, relevant sales, events. You said there was another Berkeley comic show coming up. You're going to that, I assume. When is that?
June 30th. So the end of the month.
End of the month.
Bang time. That's right. I've got Eric. All right. So you can decide what I'm going to look at. Oh my God. These are horrible. I've got White Mystery Airhead Gum right there. I have, geez, don't tell me this one. I have Isabel's pineapple cake. That's this right here.
Oh, eat that. Yum. Yum. Yum.
This is,
That's not it. It's just
Bruja, you want the White Mystery? The White Mystery gum?
Don't we all want the White
Mystery?
Okay,
before you eat the White Mystery gum, people have to guess.
Use also.
Ginger chew. I don't need to wonder what those are going to taste like.
All right, good. Because I hate ginger.
But post your guess of what you think the mystery flavor is going to be in chat if you want to do it before he takes a nib.
Is everyone different? What do you know about this?
I know nothing about it.
Don't spoil this. Don't you dare spoil this. Hold on.
So I have to eat this gum is what you're telling me.
Well, let's figure out a guess what we think the flavor is going to be real quick. It cannot be off-putting and white, because white is already off-putting for a lot of things. You know what I mean? It needs to be like marshmallow flavored or minty or, something not obnoxious.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, I would hope so, but that's the thing. I don't know.
Yes, Anthony, thank you.
Oh God.
Peppermint. Okay, I'm gonna go with a mint as well. I'm gonna go with a mint.
Would it be more yellow? Hey, maybe I should hold this up to the camera so you can you see that?
Ladies and gentlemen, the White Mystery.
And there's a little strip in the middle there.
And that's the mystery. It's the strips, the mystery. It's kind of like, never mind.
What?
Use scissors.
All right, so there you go.
Let's see what it looks like on the inside.
Oh, okay, fine.
Gum? Where do you stick gum? Under a table, behind your ear, all sorts of places.
If we
not in Taiwan. Not in Taiwan.
If we got caught chewing gum in class, we'd have to put it on the end of our nose. That was a Lutheran school.
Okay.
So there you go.
Lutheran school. You don't hear a lot about Lutheran schools.
Because everybody's old at young people in Lutheran. It doesn't really mix.
What does it mean to be a Lutheran? It means that you're not a Catholic.
Yeah.
You might be of German descent. Your religion certainly is.
This doesn't taste like anything. I mean, it tastes like sugar. I don't really know what I'm eating. Maybe my palate isn't that great.
We're experiencing technical difficulties.
Again, really?
Yeah.
You mean like we're lagging?
According to chat.
Oh, Jesus. Well, it's at the end of the show, so what are you going to do?
Exactly. We suckered them into coming along with us for this long.
Yeah. Well, you stuck around for mukbang time, so there you go.
What's the White Mystery?
Yeah, that's exactly right. What is the mystery?
Hey, Corey, how's it going?
What do you think?
Orange.
Orange?
Oh, you know what? I thought you said corn, and I was like, damn, that's a great idea. Corn-flavored gum.
Well, I tasted, I mean, I smelled it citrusy, but it just tastes like sugar. No, it just tastes like sugar. Maybe like lemon, something like that.
I love lemon.
It's fake. Whatever I'm eating is fake.
Oh, that's okay. Yep. Yeah. I didn't guess that, because it's gum and all. I figured it'd be completely natural, you know, like it came off the gum tree.
Right. But they want you to eat it. So they do whatever they do to it.
Well, yeah, they probably add sugar to it first and then, you know, stuff. All right, let's wind the show down, yeah?
Yeah, let's wind it down.
Let's wind the show down.
Thanks for coming, everybody. We really appreciate it. On the way out, if you can do me a favor and give us a thumbs up, although I see 7, so that might be max.
Everybody already gave it a thumbs up. Thank you, guys.
If you're not subscribed, make sure you are. And make sure to tell a friend if anybody is interested in two guys gabbing about, you know, comic books and stuff and psychedelics.
That is what we do, right? We just talk and we create a horribly unfriendly environment for people not to come and join us in. That's the goal.
We're talking about comic books it becomes unfriendly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talked about Tanith Lee.
Tanith Lee. Oh, man, I just can't remember the book I read by her. I don't remember being like super well impressed. But she did publish a lot of stuff.
So if anybody is at all interested in watching a YouTube video on Sabriel, which is a young adult book by with Lewell and My Girlfriend Jill, make sure to check out. What was Jill B. Pill?
Jill B.
Make
Pill.
sure to check them out on Paperback Goldmine on YouTube. Since you're already here, you might check that out. We've got a lot of hits on that already, right?
Yeah, about 300 for the first one.
Wow, 300. Man, YouTube, again, it is all about young adult books. But when we get a Black Company program,
that's
it'll be all over. We're gonna be monsters then.
We've only got
oh good. Wait,
this month, June, we've got an episode of Sabriel coming up. Saturday, we're gonna it's gonna get recorded on Saturday, and then we're doing the Black Company the Saturday after that. So we have an issue of each coming out before the month is over. Sabriel will be probably within 2 weeks, and then the other one will be right after that. So that's good. That's good. I'm glad, but it's been too long, to be completely frank. It's been too long. Too many adult problems getting in the way. I really do wish that I had that everybody, you guys included, had the liberty and freedom of time that I had when I was in junior high and have never had since. We could get so much more done.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Stuff gets in the way, and like being an adult, it's not a lot of fun sometimes.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's the worst. I mean,
it's the worst.
I don't know, man. Sometimes I'm just like, ugh, do I really have to come in?
Well, let's just say that the trade-offs, like the stuff that you can do as an adult, outweighs the fact that being an adult has a lot of responsibilities and sometimes isn't a lot of fun. But it's not by a lot for a lot of people, I think.
Right.
We don't have enough fun in life.
Yeah. Well, that's what comic books are all about. You know, it's a chance to, you know, unwind and read something fun, you know, escape just a little bit. I guess that's, you know, the big thing where people are talking about politics and stuff, you know, and, you know, just real world things. They just want to escape and not have to deal with that for a few minutes. And
sure.
Yeah,
I need to answer a question in chat real quick. I'm sorry.
Do that. Yeah.
It's called go to YouTube and it's called Paperback Goldmine, and then it's Sabriel. I think it's Sabriel by Garth Nix, part 1 of 5 and 2 of 5. I think that's what it's called. All right, but seriously. Yeah, Corey, it does suck. It was a drag. I hated it as well. But I really, really hated having a career as well. Hated it. So, which do you choose, right? 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
That's
lesser review, blah, 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 blah. All right. Good night, you guys, for realsies. Thank you for showing up. Really do appreciate it. And we'll see you next week.
Good night.
Oh, well, let's hit the button to stop the actual thing.